Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adam and Jake on the Movies. I'm Jake,
I'm Adam.
and we watch movies and answer 7 simple questions about them. Today's movie is
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive, which was released in 2001, directed and written by David Lynch, starring Naomi Watts, Laura Herring,
I think
and
Herring is what I've heard, I think.
Herring, okay, and Justin Theroux. And do you want to do the synopsis?
Yes. So after a car wreck on the winding Mulholland Drive renders a woman amnesiac, she and a perky Hollywood hopeful search for clues and answers across Los Angeles in a twisting venture beyond dreams and reality.
That's a pretty good synopsis of what
Yeah,
this movie
it,
is
it, it is a
about.
twisting venture, and you don't know what is a dream
You,
or real reality. So yeah, that's a perfect
you,
synopsis there.
yeah, you really. Um, well, let's just start with the first question. What was your initial reaction moments after watching this film?
I remember thinking, what exactly did I just watch? And what I really would have liked to have done is go back to certain scenes and watch it. But David Lynch doesn't put scene selection on his DVDs. So you'd either have to rewind the entire DVD or, just look for the scene that way. Um, I was confused, but I was drawn to it because I immediately wanted to rewatch it. Now I didn't rewatch it because I found it. I think it's kind of a tough film to get through if you don't like this type of movie.
Hmm.
I don't know if I would even call this a movie. This would be more of a film than a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a
Hmm.
blockbuster movie, superhero movie, Fast and the Furious, Jurassic Park. But this is a film meant to be dissected and discussed. So I was intrigued right after I saw the movie, confused, but engaged enough to want to revisit and watch it again. What about
I,
yourself?
the first time, so I'm going to go back to the first time I saw it. So I rewatched it last night, but the first time I ever saw it was in undergrad. So it was like 2005. It was for a film studies class. And I'm very thankful that it was in a film studies class because right afterwards I watched it and two things came to my mind. First, what just happened? Because I didn't understand the ending and the time or reality jump, spoilers, that happens at the last third of the movie, the last
Right.
act. And two, I didn't know if I liked it or not. I couldn't tell. Something about it was intriguing,
Right.
but I just couldn't put my finger on it. And like you said, I didn't really want to go back and rewatch it immediately. So I did some research and then realized kind of what happened in the
Right.
movie. But and then it all made sense after that. But I was just a little bit thrown by it. But I think overall, I was like, okay, I don't feel like I wasted 2 hours and
Right.
20 minutes of my life.
Now,
But
before you watched it in film class, had you heard of the movie before?
the only thing I'd ever heard of was Twin Peaks. Didn't know
Okay.
anything about Mulholland Drive. Knew nothing about David Lynch. So it was my
Okay.
first viewing. Yeah, it was my
Well,
first experience with him too.
this movie in 2001 also won David Lynch the Best Director at the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, I did not
So,
know that.
yeah, and I'd seen many of his, not all of his movies, but several of his movies. And this falls in line with kind of some that I had seen in the past as well.
You know what? I am not the greatest when it comes to knowing what he's done. Have I seen any of his other movies?
I don't think I've ever heard you mention any.
I'm
I
like
don't.
drawing a blank on all of these movies. Was
Yep.
Mulholland, so was this a TV movie before it was a film?
he wrote it as a TV series, and
Okay.
then he went and decided to make it a feature, and that's why the ending is kind of the way it is. So I've read. He he doesn't
Got
like to give a
you.
lot of insight about his movies, unfortunately. But I think a director's commentary on his would be very intriguing. I'd like to hear it.
So
So
the only of one of his movies that I'd ever seen before that I've ever seen since was The Elephant Man. I
okay,
saw that many years ago, but that was one of his first films, and I have not seen
yeah,
any
I've
of
never seen
those.
that one. I've never seen the Elephant Man.
Yeah, he's got so much. So he does a lot of shorts.
Yeah, he doesn't do any features anymore. He says mainly when he gets the idea enough to make a feature, he'll make another feature. But he's just been getting ideas for short films and such. He's got
Huh?
an interesting biography out. I read it. I read it last year.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Where
pretty.
is he from?
It's some Colorado or Wyoming, somewhere out that way.
Oh, Missoula, Montana.
Montana. Okay.
He just doesn't strike me as somebody. Well, it's cold up there all the time, so
Yeah,
yeah.
if you never listen to any of his, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube about him that's pretty interesting about how he comes up with ideas, but he never actually talks about what any of his films mean.
Really.
He never gives any insight because he says it's in pretty much you or
It's
the
your
viewer.
interpretation.
Yeah, so I've never found anything where he's actually talking about what the movie is about, even though sometimes he's asked. So yeah, his interviews are pretty interesting sometimes.